Game time decisions for Ohio State against Rutgers on this Saturday afternoon. Buckeyes are 4-0. Here are the elements that we think are going to make the difference between whether they go 5-0. Actually, it probably won't make the difference in whether they go 5-0, but it'll make the difference on how they go 5-0, perhaps. Stephen, what is your game time decision?
Yeah, Doc kind of touched on this in our outrageous predictions video, so you should go watch that as well. We Larry Johnson told us in the preseason that he felt like he had an alpha in the room. And then I went and wrote a story saying, hey, Larry Johnson thinks he has an alpha. Here's why I think it's JT Tuimoloau. And he's not like Jack Sawyer or Mike Hall or Talik Williams. He's not the type of guy who's just a pass rushing savant who's just going to get a lot of sacks. So he doesn't necessarily be an alpha dog that way. And so it's kind of hard to see if he's having a good season or not if you're not a sack guy. He's actually having a really good year. He's got 5 tackles and 3 of them for loss. So I kind of want to pay attention to him for a little bit against Rutgers and see if he is showing some of those steps towards being, a potential top 5 pick, even if it's not coming in sacks. Is he being a disruptor? Can he get home for some sacks? We saw him get close against Toledo, but more importantly, is he just being the level of a 5-star disruptor that we think he can be in year 2 now that he's been in the program for a full year? And I don't think because of everything else that's been going on with the defense, we haven't necessarily paid a lot of attention to him these first 4 weeks.
So JT Tuimoloau, when we talked to the team on Wednesday afternoon, was asked about the sacks and said
Mm-hmm.
that he's not worried about it. Larry Johnson's not worried about it. There's more things that you have to do than as a defensive end than get sacks. However, I was looking at the Pro Football Focus grades for this team, and you know who leads Ohio State in quarterback pressures this year? JT
JT Tuimoloau.
Tuimoloau with 12. I don't think anybody else has more than 8. I think
No.
was the next highest number. So I mean, I saw the same thing you did against Toledo. He's getting in there, and that was a weird game with the Finn and how mobile he is. I think that a lot of guys on this team have been sort of on the verge of getting some sacks, and this could be the kind of week where that is a little bit more of an option because Finn was so mobile. Graham Mertz, they didn't throw the ball a lot. Wisconsin didn't. So this could be a better week to accumulate that sort of thing. I'm taking more of a broader approach here. Listen, Ohio State just came off a 52-21 win over Wisconsin, but that's really not the kind of game you're supposed to win 52-21, or at least the kind of team you're supposed to put up 52 points against. This is, this Rutgers opponent, Ohio State is favored by a lot in a game like this for good reason. So this is a little bit nebulous, but I'm looking at like awareness. I'm looking at game control. I'm looking for Ohio State to really bury an opponent in a way that maybe it hasn't completely done yet this year. I know there've been some big scores. This may apply mostly to the defensive side of the ball, not letting that guy leak out. Aaron Cruikshank last year had 100 yards receiving and like a 70-some yard touchdown. Like, does your first string and your second string both really kind of shut this game down? Some of this is Rutgers' known potential to throw some trick plays out there. We saw it in 2020 at Ohio Stadium. At the time, it was something that Greg Schiano was using to get the program back on the map a little bit and kind of just get some juice going and get his players excited. I don't expect that to be as prevalent this time around, but I think Ohio State has to be ready for some kind of shenanigans at some point and not getting caught with its pants down. And like I said before, just the awareness of players such as Cruikshank and the big play potential they could have on a day where I think Ohio State might otherwise be able to hold an opponent without a touchdown and maybe even take a shot at a shutout, because this just isn't a very sophisticated or dynamic Rutgers offense that they're going up against. I think that was proven last week in spades against Iowa. Come back for more analysis before the game. So get the text 614-350-3315. Everything we're seeing in pregame as far as, actual game time decisions on injuries and things like that. Who's suiting up? Who looks good in warmups? That's where those texts will be coming with that kind of information. And come back for the post-game pod and Buckeye Talk 6 days a week, wherever you can find podcasts.